Welcome to another episode of Behind the Dreamers. I'm Jennifer Loading, and we are talking to the achievers, the creators, the magic makers, and the dreamers. These are our friends. These are your friends, and they are living the extraordinary. Well, here we are, another episode of Behind the Dreamers. I'm super excited about my guest today. He has spent the last 8 years studying and exploring strategies to increase not only lifespan, but more importantly, health span. He says it's no secret that maintaining physical strength as we age plays a key role in living a healthier and more independent life. And so I am so excited to get him on here, but I got to do a quick shout out to our sponsors. So today's episode is brought to you by Walt Mills Photography. If you are a creator needing post-production, consultation, or promotion, Walt Mills is your guy. Whether short films, YouTube films, photography work, or a new headshot, he can help you find a solution to match your needs. To learn more about Walt and his work, you're going to want to go to photosbywalt.com. We also want to give a shout out to our friend Chris Clow of Upbeat Media Productions. If you are in need of turnkey special event production, Clow is your go-to. You can learn more about him and his work at upbeatmediapro.com. All right, now that we got that out of the way, I'm excited to welcome my guest here today. Jordan Abecasis is the founder of Adam Rehabilitation and the inventor of the Adam Brace. He says his journey into the world of biomedical engineering began with a personal mission. As someone who's been passionate about health and wellness, it's no surprise that when his mother's rheumatoid arthritis began to limit her ability to exercise and enjoy everyday life activities, he set out on a mission to find an alternative that could help her regain her strength and independence. And so, Jordan, we are super excited to get you on the show today. So welcome to Behind the Dreamers.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. And you've done an incredible job, honestly, with the guests that you've had. And I'm super excited to be on this here with you today.
Thank you. I'm excited to have you here and talk about what you're doing. We just got all that out in like 2 minutes there. We just like cranked it out. those intros, it's like, I feel like, it's funny. I have this cheat sheet right here, but it's so funny because, I have my whole intro memorized, but I have to keep this like little blankie right here for backup in case I just, have one of those
Just
moments
in
where
case.
it gets it off. Yes, exactly. All right, Jordan. So I'm sure my audience is going to want to know, what is this, this Adam Brace that you've got going on. So tell us a little bit about what it is that you're doing here so we can get our audience up to speed with what you've got going on.
Yeah. So I'll start with this. The Adam Performance System is a framework that involves both training level at the master level and as well as having the equipment with you. So our equipment helps stabilize the arm while you undergo physical exercises of the shoulders, of the upper back, and of the neck. And the way it works is actually by connecting elastic bands to the midpoint of the arm, so at the elbow. You can connect elastic bands to our patented brace. And then following our framework, we guide you through a set of primarily 8 exercises. And these 8 exercises are curated specifically to allow your body to go through the most optimal movements for functional movements. Okay, so what I mean by that, your daily tasks when you open up a drawer, when you reach up above your head, when you need to get a plate from your top cupboard in your kitchen, whatever it is that you're doing, you need to move your arms, even putting away laundry, hanging things up in the closet. We have programmed our framework to match those movements to a T. So all of these strengthening exercises that we do are to enhance those for your daily life. So whether you are someone who just suffers with chronic shoulder pain because of an injury prior that you had, or whether you are an individual who had surgery and it got worse, your shoulder got worse, or you are an athlete who is constantly using your arms and throwing, pitching, whatever you wanted to go ahead and do, we have tailored our movement specifically to make sure not only that you gain mobility in your body, we stabilize the joint, and then we strengthen the body following forward from there.
Very good. Very good. So somebody that, I think shoulder and neck pain and all of that is probably a very high, I want to say a common thing, because I know I struggle with, I had a car accident and had some whiplash in my neck. And so I've got that I deal with, but also like rotator cuff type injuries, all of those things I would imagine would be ideal people for you.
Yeah, no, if you are suffering, even suffering with migraine headaches, that where your neck gets really tight, or up in the back of your head, this is a very sensitive area.
Mm-hmm.
These are the primary reasons to seek out a either you I mean, look, you don't have to come to me, but we do offer a whole framework and solution that you can do on your own. But you should see a professional that understands how to work the body's muscles in a way to relieve that tension, because it's interesting is that a lot of times, and most people think this, I mean, everyone loves a great massage. Everyone loves a good stretch. But what they don't understand is that most of the time, it's not actually that the muscles are tight because they're not loose. The muscles are tight because the other muscles are weak. And so what we do is we built, again, the framework to strengthen all of the muscles that surround the scapula to allow them to even out. So if we think of a scale, and okay, so here we are on our lever. And if the muscles are tight up here, what we want to do is we want to strengthen the ones below to pull that down. And that will directly help your neck pain. It directly will relieve that migraine tension that you have. And then the brace itself with our movements actually helps strengthen the scapula to the point where it pulls your arm into a position to relieve that pain that you're feeling on the front side of the shoulder. So these are all things that go into that have been heavily analyzed before releasing the product to the market, from the framework to the movements to the actual tension that we apply and how we apply it overall.
It's interesting that you say that too. You're like speaking my language, because I get migraines, and interestingly enough, I don't get the head pain that comes with them anymore. I just get all the aura, but obviously they're always on kind of the same side. This is, all of that. This morning, I woke up and had one this morning, believe it or not. So like I said, I don't get the head pain, so I can still function, but I do get all the aura that goes with it. And I've had the severe head pain for many, many years that go with those migraines. But you just said that to me, and I'm like, you're speaking my language. You're totally talking my language right now, Jordan, because all of that stuff is connected. And when you said earlier about, the weaker muscles are a lot of times a problem, that's so true. And that's why, like I work out at the gym, I lift weights. I always try to make sure that I'm working all the different muscles, because you're working your biceps, or you getting the triceps, like all the different things.
That's
so
right.
I'm interested. I want to do more research. I looked over some of your stuff. I want to do some more research on this and dig into this.
Yeah.
So love it.
You'll love it. Everything that we do is based around even symmetry across the entire upper body. So
Okay.
the framework works the front side of the body as much as it works the back side. So this even push and pull so we work in all planes of direction, from up, down, forward and back, diagonal and cross lateral positions. And by having and achieving such even stability in one framework, our clients see such faster results when they go ahead and they start something, because it's fast. It takes only about 5 minutes to complete a set. And you can do more sets if you wanted to, but if you've only got 5 minutes, it takes about 5 minutes from the time you put the brace on to the time you go through the whole workout. And it's like having someone hug your entire upper body. It's just the blood flow is there, the feelings are there, you feel your muscles, and it's a great feeling to be able to not only create something like that, but provide that type of relief for my clients overall.
That's awesome, Jordan. Awesome. So tell us a little bit, because I mentioned it early on, obviously your passion is in the health and wellness. And so you were driven by that, but then you have this, situation with your mom, and then all of a sudden it kind of helps birth this whole idea. So talk a little bit about that for us.
Yeah. So my mom has a condition called rheumatoid arthritis, and it caused the crippling of her hands, and her wrists were very weak. Her arms were very weak, and her shoulders were very unstable. In the process of that, she also suffers from chronic migraines. I do too.
There you go.
But within my, for my mom's migraines were a little bit different than mine. She suffered with this incredible neck and trap pain up over. She couldn't move her head slightly. Her traps were incredibly tight. Shoulders were incredibly tight. And she's such a hard working woman. I commemorate my mom in so many ways that I could not explain. And I knew that there was a muscular imbalance in her body. But because of her condition, I wasn't able to necessarily help her to the best degree with what was available. I mean, we had seen physical therapists and doctors. She's getting Botox injections. She's getting massages. She's doing everything that any traditional person could have told her. And I had been a professional sports and conditioning coach for about 2 years at that point when she started really, really suffering. So, and I was able to pinpoint this type of ideology that says, hey, we need to pull these muscles down. We need to get you some muscle on your back. But how did we do that when she couldn't really hold anything? Her arms were so unstable. Her shoulders were super weak. So it was such a tough position to be in, to see, and everything took a significant amount of one-on-one time to help her, because and even at that, we got so little done in that time period because of the stage that she was at. So I was like, there's got to be something that can help her. And the first thing was, I got to stabilize her arm, right? I got to make sure that she's stable enough that she's not going to hurt herself in an exercise. Number two, I got to find a way to strengthen the muscles of the scapula directly through a set of exercises. So the first thing that actually I did, I started programming the exercises. And the exercises are not super complicated. It's just the framework. It's just how they're the set of exercises that you do in order to achieve what we want. And that's moving the shoulder blades. That's what the scapula is. The scapula is the shoulder blades. If anyone didn't know what the scapula necessarily was, but so we have to move the shoulder blade in all of its directions. So there's the elevation, so the uprising. There's depression, which is the pulling down. There's protraction and retraction. So protraction is the forward hunching, and then retraction is the backwards pulling. And there's also something called upward rotation and downward rotation, which happens when you lift your arm above your head. The scapula actually comes out of your body like this. Okay. Mm. So the goal was so we've identified all the ways that it moves. We've identified the exercises in which it does. Now we need to go ahead and create the framework for her to use a system that stabilizes her body, goes through those motions, and can strengthen her. Okay. Strength is easy. You apply resistance to the muscles, and that will directly strengthen. Okay. So as I was going through, I mean, I spent about 6 months, maybe 8 months total researching different exercise modalities that were out there to try and find if something was already out, because we were wrapping elastic bands on her arm. I was holding her arm in certain places. Every movement that she did, it required me to be there holding her arm, going through the motions. It just was not feasible. And there's no way she could have done it alone. So how am I supposed to expect her to get better if she can't do something quickly and effectively on her own? So I realized that all the muscles in the shoulder blade or on the scapula connect to and of really from like the rib cage up, connect to the upper part of the arm. Mm-hmm. They don't connect down below the elbow. So as long as I provided tension at the elbow or below, we were good. I could achieve a good amount of force to be provided at that arm. So, okay, well, how do I stabilize the arm? Well, we put her in a brace. Put the brace on, combine that type of methodology, and boom, the Adam Performance Brace System was born from there. Testing, products, manufacturing, all of that. We went through all of it. I mean, this was all really, we started manufacturing. We were getting ready to manufacture right when COVID hit. So that kind of blunted everything. But and we went through about 25 different iterations of the brace, different variations, versions, strength tests, all these different types of parameter tests. I mean, I was getting one in, breaking it, saying, hey, this is what's wrong with it. I'm testing it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, nonstop. Hey, this broke. This needs to be fixed. This needs to be fixed. So we went through about 20 different iterations of the brace before we finally got to that last model, which is now what we have available commercially, where anybody can use with the framework and get their own relief.
I love it, Jordan. I love this story. And, I think that the thing that's so neat about this, I feel like when entrepreneurs have like this fiery purpose behind what they're doing, it makes all of this so much sweeter. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
anybody, we can all just decide, hey, I want to create a business, or I want to, not all of us can create a product like you did. Obviously, you've done a lot of work and research here. But I mean, we can all come up with this idea of what we want to do for a business, right? And we're really sold on our idea. But the idea is we have to make our item where our audience needs it. Our people, they need it. And I think the best way to do that is to get in the field. And when you said earlier, I picked up, like when you said the migraines, you said, well, I have them too. So you know what it's like being a person suffering from migraines. It's a debilitating condition. And you had somebody close to you that also had that, but also had another condition that you were really passionate about trying to help solve. So I think this is such a great story. And what an awesome son you are.
Thank you. No, and I didn't end on this. My mom's neck pain, which went from a 9 out of 10, 6, 7 days out of the week, it was really chronic. It was a very big issue, is now completely gone.
Wow.
And she is pain free at this moment in time. When she gets a migraine, she starts to get tight. She just called me yesterday. It's funny, Jordan, I can't believe it. More people need this. I was starting a migraine. I felt horrible. My neck was starting to get trapped up. I didn't want to do anything. I forced myself into your brace, and I did like a tenth of what I normally do. And within an hour it was gone, and I feel great. And it's gone.
You just gave me chills.
It's that simple and that miraculous of a system. It really helps. I'm so proud to say that it truly can help restore feeling like a normal person again. And that's what I hope to achieve with everyone. And, if whoever's listening to this and, says that, I don't want you to believe that there's no hope for you and that you can't figure it out. And maybe my product's not the end all solution. I'm not going to say that, but it's definitely worth a shot if you're suffering with some neck and shoulder pain to see if we can help, because I've helped so many people at this point.
Yeah. And I think it's a great alternative to, for a lot of us like myself who don't really like using medication. Like I'm just not a Tylenol, aspirin, what do you call me? I don't use medication if I don't have to. Even with migraines, I don't take anything. Like there was a time I did, and I didn't have a lot of luck with a lot of those abortive medications. And so like, I'm sure the many of the clients that you are working with, we're always looking for alternative ways to do things holistically and in a way that we can maybe solve the problem rather than stick a Band-Aid on the problem. And if you've caught anything about my show, I feel like everything that I introduce to my people, whether it be something for their health or something for their business to solve a solution, I'm about solving solutions, not putting Band-Aids on things. So I love what you're doing. I want to dig into this a little bit more because I feel like I haven't had enough time. I got your stuff yesterday and I'm like, oh my God, I need to look at all this and do some digging and see what this is. Cause I'm interested in this just for shoulder pain and neck pain. So I love it.
And it's go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You're fine. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that, because most of my clients that end up finding me, they've already been through 4 or 5 cortisone shots. They've already been through all of the types of allosteric medicine that they could have. They're taking painkillers. They're taking the anti-inflammatories. They're shooting anti-inflammatories. Right. They're doing all these things to find relief. And it's expensive. It's harmful on the body over the long term, especially if you're doing this chronically. And we do provide that holistic solution just by manipulating the muscles in order to provide you relief. Yeah. Something I very greatly stand for.
Yeah. And it's a better solution in the long run anyways. You're going to do less damage to the body. I agree. You don't even have to sell me on it. That part, I get it because I'm all about it. So I love it. So I do want to ask you some other questions on the entrepreneur side of things, because this is kind of what the show's about. It's, why you do what you do, the inspiration and kind of what you learned through this process. I would love to know, going through this process as a new, you've been in this for a little while. I don't know how long your business has been around, but maybe something like the takeaway, something you've learned in this process as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So I was on track for medical school. I was ready to go. I mean, 3.95 GPA in my master's, letters of reference from over 10 physicians. I had taken the MCAT. I was ready to go. Ready. And I decided that, hey, if I'm going to do something for the next 8 years, 10 years, 15 years, I should do this for myself. And I was incredibly humbled by this experience. When I tell you, I had an ego leaving the medical or leaving that type of medical side, because I was like, I know this, I'd be great, no problem. I'm passing with flying colors. And then I enter entrepreneurship, and it's been the most challenging thing that I've ever done on my own by far. And it's because I chose something that was foreign to me. Nobody said it would ever be easy, but you could never imagine the hardships that you come out and the problems that you have to face consistently as you're trying to build a business and build a startup. I bootstrapped everything on my own. I didn't take any investments. Looking back, I probably could have, and it wasn't necessarily a choice other than I was in a good position financially from my prior job that I was able to do it. But I think that the most important thing is that I, as an entrepreneur who has such big goals, because I believe that there are millions of people that I can help, that it's patience. I have to learn to be patient in this process, and I'm learning. I'm not great yet. And everyone wants, it's not only that, because I've got a great product, I've got a great framework, everyone should have it, and there's, what's stopping me right now from getting it in the hands of the next person tomorrow? What's stopping me from going, so it's like this continual back pressure on myself. It's like, hey, Jordan, you're doing great. You're making progress. Be proud of yourself. Take these little wins. You get a client, great. Take that little win. You help someone, you get a great story. Someone tells you that, their pain's gone. That's a win. Take that win, allow it to fuel me. Because I heard a quote the other day, and it's like, with a marathon, from mile 1 to mile 2, everyone's cheering you on. And then mile 24 to the end, everyone's cheering you on. But nobody talks about mile 3 to 23. And that is the hardest, longest, loneliest time in an entrepreneur journey, that you have to make sure that you reward yourself, understand to pace yourself, be patient, and that things take time, because you cannot burn this out. This is a forever game, not an end goal. So that's definitely the most challenging side of, at least for me, as someone who has always overexceeded in everything that I've done, to be dramatically humbled and put back in place.
Yeah, I love that, Jordan. And I've ran several marathons, so I would agree with you on that. And I think that's what's so beautiful about this process. I have brought, several athletes on this show to talk about those similarities that you learn, when you play sports or when you do something in an athletic nature, and how those skills are very similar. A lot of things you go through and that are very similar to what you go into entrepreneurship, because it takes a lot of dedication and persistence and tenacity and ability to humble yourself and to get over when things don't work the way you want them to work out. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I think it's a beautiful thing, because I feel like you just learn so many life skills in entrepreneurship. I really think it sets you up for, I always say that you become extremely industrious when you're an entrepreneur. Like, I had somebody come on my show one day and say, you wake up, it's like when you're starting out, you just wake up broke every day and you try to figure out, where's the dollar coming from? Like, where is it coming from? Right. But you get really creative and resourceful as an entrepreneur. Would you not agree?
Yeah. You have to figure it out. And there's definitely help that you can get, mentors and leaders and partners. And I've done, I have to give a special shout out to all of the people who have been affiliated with this. I mean, they haven't taken any ownership of the company. I still own 100% of my company, but I have been blessed with some incredible mentors and coaches along this way that have helped me understand the path of execution, to strategy, to planning, to organizing all of this. And these are things that are going to stick with me forever, that I joke about all the time. I was like, maybe when I'm done, I'll help the young entrepreneurs when I'm done with this, because people, this is what it's about. It's about it giving back to that next level to learn, because these life skills are irreplaceable.
Yeah, that's so good. And that actually will lead me into another question I would love to ask you, because you mentioned, helping young entrepreneurs. And I think that's so good because you are young, and I don't know how old you are, but I know you're young. I can tell. And I think that's great and amazing. And I love talking to young entrepreneurs that come into this space because I think they bring a different, fresh outlook to the entrepreneur world. You know what I mean? I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm kind of on that upper end. I've been an entrepreneur since I was, I think, like 27, and things have changed so dramatically. In the time when I started, we didn't have all the resources that we have now and the things that are available to us. So I would love to ask you, maybe for somebody that's starting out, that's kind of in that space, maybe they are young and they're starting a new business, any kind of advice you would like to lend them?
I think that this is, of course, very dependent as to where they are in their stages, right? Because there is a strategy to all of this, right? There are stages that you take and then steps that you take once you reach those stages, right? So um, to go back for a second, I am 27 years old. That that is when I started.
There you go.
So
Bam. Good.
so
It's a good age.
and I would say that if you haven't let's say you're at the stage of an idea and you want to start a business and you want to take that first step and don't necessarily know where to start. I think that as long as you've already identified a problem, because that has to be number one, you have to identify a real problem in the world. And the first thing that you want to do is you want to go out and you want to do your own little market research analysis. Go out and talk to people, not your friends, not your family. Go out and talk to strangers about their problems that they have with something currently going on now. And if they have any solutions for it that they currently use to go about it. And this was something that FAU, my school, had taught me, and I'm part of FAU Tech Runway. And this was an activity that they did for us. And they said, I want you to go speak to 30 people. I don't want you to tell them anything about what you're doing. I don't want you to sell them anything. I just want you to ask them questions about their current pain, about their current issue, and get a good understanding as to what the market says in response. So you go through these series of framework, you introduce yourself, say, hey, my name is Jordan. I'm working on a project for my school. And if you got a couple of minutes, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about shoulder pain, right? You lead it from there. Have you ever had shoulder pain? Do you know someone who has had shoulder pain? Do you suffer with neck pain? Whatever it may be, whatever your problem is. Do you have a problem with this? And then what do you do now if that happens? What are your solutions? What do you recommend to be done for someone who may be looking for a solution to this? And then you prime the question, well, if there was a way you could do this, do you think that would be something you're interested in? Do you think that would be a solution for you if it did this, this, and this? Do you think that would work for you? What would you pay for it? Would you buy? I mean, would it come in a box? I mean, some people, there's a lot of technology out, SaaS platforms and mobile platforms and technological solutions that you can lead into different variations of that. But, what would be your vision? If I could save you $20 a month on this, would you pay $15 a month for this? Right. And you get to know what their responses are. And of course, at the end of it all, you appreciate them, you say thanks to them, and you take their contact information, say, hey, would you mind if at a later time that I could reach back out to you at your phone number and your email? Yeah, no problem. Great. Everyone, if they gave you the time of day to do that, they'll give you their contact information. You hold on to that tight. Once you're ready and once you've gotten a clear understanding, you don't want to do this with one person. You don't want to do it to two people, 30, 50, 100, 1,000 if you can. If you can find a way to talk to 1,000 people, it might take a long time unless you had a team doing this. You can call them, you can email them, you can Zoom them, whatever methods. You can go on LinkedIn and message them, whatever methods that you can get in front of your target customer, the better off you'll be into curating a package that addresses their pain points, addresses their needs, and provides them with that solution that you have created. So that's market research, questions, pain points, and providing people a real solution as to what they're looking for is where you need to start.
Jordan, that was really good and 100% correct. I would agree with you on all of that because I think it gets back to a lot of times people have this great idea, but they don't really know if what they have is going to fit their market. So yes, you've got to I agree with you. You got to get in the field, do the market research. And I love that you emphasize, don't do this with family and friends, find other people and not just one or two. It needs to be a lot of people that you get this from. So good
enough
advice.
People to give you, enough, because what you're looking for is a correlation here. You're looking for people to say 5 to 6 of the same things.
Yeah.
And then you nail those as your top priorities to address, to make sure that the verbiage is correct, that they understand. And that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. And you can utilize their verbiage to convey your message because what they're telling you is what they want to hear. So you can relay that. This is so good. We could have a whole nother conversation on that. So good, Jordan. Well, listen, I love what you're doing. And what I want to ask you is if our audience wants to get in touch with you and they want to find out more about this, this brace and your framework and all of that, where would you like us to send them?
Yeah. So AdamRehabilitation.com, product is available. It's actually 50% off right now.
Okay.
So it is available online. You can order it, you can purchase it, you can get it in your home right away. Okay.
Awesome.
So if you're someone who suffers with shoulder and neck pain, you can go to AdamRehabilitation.com. If you want to connect with me personally, LinkedIn is probably the best way and the best place to find me. You can search up my name. It's Jordan Abecasis. And if you want to see a couple of videos, you can go to Instagram at Adam Rehabilitation or on YouTube, Adam Rehabilitation. It's also there and labeled where you can kind of see some videos and get a little bit of a primer of how the system works, what we do, and what we stand for.
Very cool. Okay, Jordan. So we need to connect so I can keep up with what you're doing because I now have your social handles and stuff. So we need to connect. This has been great. I want to tell you, congratulations on your success and getting this up and running. I'm excited to see another young entrepreneur doing cool things in the world. And I love what you're doing because you're in an area that I'm very passionate about, which is health and wellness and making people healthy and whole. So I love that. And I'm excited to keep up and follow you as you're progressing in this journey of entrepreneurship and making the world a better place. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. It's so funny. I got right before we hopped on our call, I get a call from a nationally renowned baseball coach. He's like, I want to see you. I need one. Can you meet me today? And I'm like, yeah, but I got a call in 2 minutes. So I'll see you in an hour. So I'm hopping off here. I'm driving straight to Boca to go check them out.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. That's so awesome. Well, we will let you get off here. Thank you for being here. And of course, we do want to say to our audience, if you enjoy our show, please be sure you go check us out on Apple, give us a rating there, and hop on over to YouTube and subscribe so we can keep sharing all these incredible stories. And as I always say, in order to live the extraordinary, you must start. In order to start, you must make a decision. You guys take care, be safe, be kind to one another, and we will see you next time.